Ryan Freeberg here with Sex Energy Secrets on YouTube, doing some celebrity energy reading. Let's look at Karlie Kloss here. And in this case, I downloaded a couple of her images. I found them on a website. And so I'm going a little differently than just looking at one photo in this case. But what I'm finding out that's really stands out to me is that she has a very private world and she has things which make her happy. Because we can see a really dynamic range. Like she's actually, in this photo, she's really actually kind of congruent with the, there's different words to describe it, the kind of a bored, kind of sobriety, somber kind of a mood. And yet, in another photo, we see there's something lighting her up from the inside. So what that tells us is that, and I'm not really commenting on the fashion and stuff, because believe me, that would be an entirely different discussion. So what that tells us is that she has a very private, centered life because she withdraws into herself. And she's not finding perfect happiness in what she's doing when she has this kind of expression and so forth. And maybe it was an offshoot, but she's actually really congruent with that. So she really actually knows those depths of, like, not despair, but like personal darkness and so forth, which is interesting. So she has this depth and this emotional range fan that she can experience. So something gives her the power to light up from within. So she has this real personal reality. The lighting up is not coming from outside of her. There's something inside of her that gives her power. So what's healthy about that is that we see a dynamic range. So if you're in a relationship with this girl, she's generally introverted, she's going to draw into herself, but it's going to be interesting because she's so dynamic. Different things will light her up, but it's coming from a personal center. That's actually, it's not being driven divinely by just a great flow of happiness and feel good. It's more of a personal experience where she's mostly closed off, and then it takes something to light her up. And that's what I'm just sensing out of this stuff now. So when you see people like this who are actually really go into those states where they're congruent with being in kind of a somber mood, they have a certain emotional range fan when you see them light up. And so that's really interesting. And that's going to keep a dating relationship really interesting. And as far as her sex energy, it's not the most feminine. It's more of a personal energy. I mean, she is enjoying what she's doing, and there's definitely some light there. But you don't know what exactly is going to light her up. It's, again, more that personal experience. So even her sexuality, it could be healthier and more open. And that's generally true of all Western women. Now, there are things that do light her up and so forth, but you don't want to have to keep triggering that in a woman. So she has some emotional weight, something in her past that's kind of keeping her at a lower frequency, at least in doing this. But again, seeing that dynamic range fan, that's good. Her sexuality, it could be more sharing, more open, more expressive with others. Again, she has more of a personal experience, but she can light up and then share that with others. But because she's so dynamic, it's interesting. You're not always going to know what's going to happen with her, which is actually kind of cool, because some women, they are just consistently open. Like Ariana Grande is just more consistent. This girl, she's got more the introverted, dynamic, emotional range and depth, which is interesting. So Karlie Kloss, just a couple things that stood out to me. What could improve? Again, opening up to more of her divine feminine nature so she could allow her lower chakras to be more feminine, yin, open, and humming like golden hummingbirds, and sharing that energy more openly with the world as compared to more the personal experience which she has, where she lights up from within. She could light up from her divinity, but she would have to open up to more of that flow of energy to come through her. And then you're gonna see a woman who's lit up like all the time and still has that deep emotional range, which is gonna drive men wild. This is Rion with Sex Energy Secrets. Subscribe to this channel, check out the other videos.